Hello, everyone. My name is Antonia, and I want to first thank Hannah and Andy for the kind introduction. They said a few words that are really important for my speech today. They said I'm a student here at ICHB. I know many of you have found yourself in the same position that I will be talking about today, which is why I chose to share my story of self-leadership. I'm standing here on this red carpet, and I've stood here so many times before, I think hundreds of times, and I don't think I've ever been as nervous as I am today. I don't know how many of you know this, but this used to be our sports gym. So I don't think I've ever been as nervous as I am today for gym, but here I am. So I want to ask you a rhetorical question. I think most of you are probably going to answer yes. Have you ever failed spectacularly? Have you ever been in a moment so low that you literally don't know what to do? I think many of us have been there at some point, right? That moment when you hit a wall and think, maybe I'm not cut out for this. I've been in plenty of those situations, and for that, I consider myself lucky. I'm here to share with y'all how I've embraced those moments of so-called failure and how I've made the most of them. I'm here to share how, over the years, I've embraced failing and I've become a self-leader. This is what I call moments of lift. Those times when you feel like you've hit rock bottom and you can't get up, that is the time when it most matters to empower yourself. Self-leadership is the ability to, I would say, use our actions and use our power to become better with each new mistake, learning, and success. You may, of course, ask others for outside opinions and perspectives, but ultimately, each one of you has the power to make their own mistakes. Each one of you has the power to make their own success story, and each one of you has the power to inspire. I have not always been a leader, and standing here today, I want to share 2 examples of my life that ironically represent the beginning and ending of my career as a student here at ICHB. The first one, not so much of a self-leader, but I want you to see the growth. 8 years ago, I started here in this school as a 5th grader with a big dream. I came from a class where I was considered to be pretty good at math, and I transferred to ICHB to pursue this passion I had for the sciences. And so I came here, and I struggled to fit in. I was not as good at math as I thought I was, or at least that's what I thought. I ended up in a class full of people who had been doing math competitively for many years, and so I didn't fit in. I am stupid, I'm incapable, I cannot do this, and I want to move back to my old school. My mom is there, she can say that this was my speech every single night. For the first few weeks of my 5th grade, I did not want to be here, and I was here for many times during that first year at ICHB. And looking back, at that moment, I was unconsciously still practicing self-leadership because after hitting rock bottom and crying every single night, I got up, I became ambitious, I worked hard, and I finished middle school as one of the best in my class. Even as children, self-leadership runs within us. The struggle is, how do we embrace it, and how do we use it towards our advantage? Now, the second example I want to give is a really personal one because it led to my most powerful moment of lift. It was the time when I grew the most and when I embraced my power and my ability to motivate myself. Now, over the last 4 years, I've worked towards one particularly important goal for me, getting into the university of my dreams. And I've wanted this for so long that it just honestly feels crazy to be here and talk about this. But every single action that I've been doing over the last 4 years has been towards this goal. I've volunteered. I woke up at 5 a.m. on Saturdays to teach an international math course. I wrote research papers and essays, and I even held speeches, apparently. And I did all these things to reach this dream that I had. And I'm in 12th grade now, And so the time came for my application. So I submitted the application to what seemed to be my biggest dream. And in just a few days after applying, I got in. And I was thrilled. I'd made my dream come true. But then, I was hit with the reality of one of the biggest issues that I could have faced. I did not receive any financial aid from that school, and I could not afford to go. So I'm asking you, what would you say, and what would you do if everything that you had been doing for the last 4 years felt like it was all for nothing? I cried. That's what I did, at first. I cried. And then I cried some more. And then I thought of all the moments of lift that I had previously been through. And maybe it was my pride speaking, but I couldn't give up. And so I tried everything that I could think of. I wrote emails, I messaged them, I called them, and I tried everything that I could think of for more than 20 times. And still, nothing worked. And so at that moment, I hit rock bottom. I was at the peak of my moment of lift. I hit rock bottom, and I honestly didn't know what to do with myself. But then I remembered all those times when I had faced similar issues. And I asked myself, were they all for nothing? Have I just been struggling all these years to reach my goal to give up now? And I couldn't. But at that moment, I realized that I was the one with the power. I had the power to make the decision that could potentially alter my life. I could give up and withdraw my application, or I could try again. And so I did. And with that last email to my college admission officers, I did my absolute best, and I thought of every single reason why I deserved to go. And I sent in the most powerful and authentic message that I had ever written. But still, I knew that the chances of anything changing were almost inexistent. Everything was against me. I had tried every single possible solution that I could think of, and still nothing had worked. And so I sent this last email with no expectations. And do you want to know what happened? One email changed my life. Because as the admission officers got back to me, I was told that because of my, of course, impressive, CV or resume, you would say, but not only that, but because of my determination, I was given the highest merit scholarship that the school had to offer. I think this is one of the best examples that I could give of why self-leadership matters. It is the first step, I would say, in becoming any sort of leader, in my opinion. The first step you need to take towards becoming a leader is being able to motivate yourself. If you motivate yourself, you can motivate others. But that is the first step. And I'm lucky that I managed to take that first step. Now, I want to take a step back and compare the two examples I just gave. I started in middle school with being one of the, I would say, students with the lowest grades in my class, because my first math grade here at TEDxICHB was a 5. My second math grade here at TEDxICHB in 5th grade was a 5. And do you want to guess my third math grade? It was a 5. So I started here as a student with really low grades, and then I ended up where I am now, 8 years later, being the first one in my generation to be accepted into a top 10 United States university. And I don't think I could have been here without all the help and support from everyone who has been near me throughout this process. But the takeaway for me is this. To be able to succeed, you must know how to motivate yourself exactly when it matters. And to be able to do that, you need to be intentional about learning from your mistakes and acknowledging everything that comes your way. And so, the next time I'm going to face a setback, I'm lucky. I have a framework. I'm going to rely on my previous success stories and learnings, and I'm going to embrace everything that comes my way. So thank you for having me and for listening to my story. And I hope that you choose to do the same as me. Thank you.